Voxer. I'm a real estate advisor, investor, and your number one source for real estate advice online. And on today's location, I am in beautiful Mexico at the Riviera Maya. I'm staying at a resort. I was one of those people that were pulled in through a Facebook ad, actually, to come and stay for a couple nights and listen to one of their sales presentations on timeshares. I've made lots of videos about timeshares. In this video we're going to talk about this Mexican resort and some of the things that I've learned on this particular trip. So on today's date I actually attended a sales presentation, and they actually never really quite told me what they're trying to sell me, but I was really interested to listen to the sales pitch. If you listen to my videos and watch my YouTube channels, you know that I've had a lot of different presentations that I've presented, and I've kind of given you guys the feedback on what exactly is being offered, how it's being sold, and the products that they have, and also some of this really salesmanship, because that's really what I'm always trying to learn, is the salesmanship. And I've never attended one outside the United States. All the ones that I've been to, if you watched my channel, were in the Orlando area and Myrtle Beach, as well as in other locations around Florida. So this is my first one here in Mexico. And just a little bit of a background on why I'm even here. I actually had not had any plans to come to Mexico anytime soon. I've been in Mexico. I didn't have a great experience many years ago and had no desire to come back here, and decided needed to go to my dentist. As you know, I do a lot of videos in Costa Rica because my dentist is in Costa Rica. I did a testimonial, and my dentist actually moved to Mexico because of COVID and travel restrictions and the fact that Mexico is actually wide open to travelers. So I decided to come here instead in August. And when I came in August, I basically just stayed at the hotel right across from the dentist because it was most convenient, and I was a candidate for an implant. And so a medical tourist here, and I kind of liked it, so I decided to come back a little bit longer. There's a whole nother story why I'm here. This is not just vacation for me, but coming to this particular resort right here on the Riviera Maya, actually was really excited when they offered to give me a presentation, because I wanted to see how it varied from the other presentations that I've been to. Also what kind of amenities, what kind of products they're offering here, how the presentation itself is, how the salesmanship is, and just kind of get to know the people and the area. And so I'm gonna give you a little bit of a recap for that. So I'm actually sitting here waiting for the shuttle because this resort right here is humongous, and this is the Vidanta resort, and I'm staying at one of the 5 hotels on this resort. As I mentioned, the reason I was pulled into this, and my sales representative actually told me I am a buy and fly type of client, and I even asked that twice. I asked him what is a buy and fly is. What is buy and fly? And there's my shuttle, so I got to continue this video in just a moment. But I'm a buy and fly customer, I guess. It's some of these people, they pull in really cheaply online and give them these amazing deals for $150 for 3 nights, so they can do their sales presentations and their upsells. So I'm one of the ones that they basically feed the pipeline from the very bottom, and I'm a little bit familiar with marketing pipelines, so very well aware where I am on the totem pole. But I wanted to give you a little bit of an idea of how it went from A to Z so far. And there is my shuttle. I'll be right back with the rest of this video in a few minutes. So the sales presentation today was a little bit like all timeshare sales presentations. They're very particular about it not being called a timeshare, but it really is a timeshare. But because you can exchange it, and you can exchange weeks and blah blah blah, it's not really a timeshare. They call it a vacation club. The standard questions are being asked as to where do I vacation to, how much money do I spend on each vacation, where do I usually go, this is one of the best places, you should buy a timeshare here, and blah blah blah, the whole spiel. I was assigned to a young gentleman, a Mexican, and took me to breakfast first. They actually tried to get me into a presentation twice. And the first time they didn't actually say it was going to be a sales presentation. They just said, hey, we'll reserve you a table at the breakfast and we'll invite you. And I didn't know that when I arrived they actually took me straight to the sales room, and I walked straight out. I was there with my mother, she's elderly, and I wasn't going to sit through a 2 or 3 hour presentation with somebody talking English that my mom doesn't understand a word. And I said, okay, I'll excuse myself kindly, I'm going to my own breakfast. I did see this concierge, or my host I should say, and I was assigned a different date while I was here. I'm staying in this place for 1 week, so this is my 5th day, so I finally did go to the presentation, but I made sure that I went by myself without my mom, so she wouldn't have to sit through a presentation where she doesn't understand a word anyways. So compared to the sales presentations in other parts of the world, Mexico takes it a couple of notches higher. In that the people that are your salespeople are extremely well dressed, very well groomed, very versatile. A lot of them are actually Americans that speak perfect English. They'll take you through the stages of the process, basically just familiarize themselves with you. That means they're asking a lot of questions about your personal life that I quite honestly think is none of their business. But just be prepared if you go to a sales presentation here that you'll be asked a lot of questions. Where you're from, where you grew up, what do you do for a living, who's in your family, how do you vacation, and just they'll try to find the little 2 or 3 spots basically that are your hot points for basically selling something to you, because they want to get to know the real you. So if you're not familiar with this and this is your first sales presentation, you're gonna think that the person really cares about me and they really want to know about me, and you start sharing things, and it's very classical salesmanship. It's very very good. So but I personally have a lot of fun with this because I'm a salesperson as well, maybe not as good, but I do know some of the tactics, and I kind of decided to ask some questions myself. So a lot of the things that I've asked about is the size of the company, how many people work at this resort, how much do the people make that work at this resort. I want to, being, I guess, humanitarian, I guess, you should always ensure that the people that work for you and service you are actually earning a living wage. And I kind of verified the information I got from the salespeople with the actual employees. I actually was able to pin down a couple of employees that would share some information with me. I'm not going to divulge any names at all in this video. That's not what this video is about. But I kind of figured out, how much an average person makes at this resort. I was told that it's a good living wage here at this resort is about 10,000 pesos a month. That's about $500. And but the majority of the people here really count on tips, and that's how they supplement their income. People that work here are extremely customer service oriented, not anything as what we're familiar with in the United States. People will definitely bend over backwards to make you happy, and of course they want to make the tips, and that's understandable. The salesperson, even though he did pay for my breakfast, did encourage me very strongly to basically leave a tip or else. So I did, and even though the tips supposedly are included in the prices. So I was told that the resort currently operates under a stage program where basically they had everything initially shut down during COVID around the April timeframe, and then they started slowly opening up by percentages and kind of watching the hospitalizations. So it started at 30-40, and this resort right now is operating at 60% capacity, I believe. And I was asking them to see how much actually that is, and I was told by my salesperson and another employee that generally they have about 4,000 reservations going on. I kind of find that number hard to believe, but at the present there's only 2,000, so there's only about 4,000 people here. Again, I can't verify those numbers, I don't know. I do know that in this entire resort there is hundreds of people working. Again, the number I can't verify, about 500 or so, and maybe 1,500, I'm not even sure. So because this resort is so large, it's actually impossible to walk from one place to another. You actually have to take shuttles unless you want to spend a significant amount of time walking. That's really, really bad if you're traveling with older people or people that are handicapped in some way, because it's actually difficult to get around with wheelchairs. I didn't see very many people with wheelchairs or handicapped people. You really need to be able to walk at least to the shuttle stops. The buildings themselves, one of the buildings that I stayed in had a little bit of a hospital look to it, and even though it was sort of kind of stylish, for the whole part it was not kind of what I expected to see for a 5-star resort. I can say that the service of the people that work here has been phenomenal, again because people are very lucky and they're happy to work here. But basically this resort is its own city, so you have everything from medical services, travel services, private beach clubs, restaurants for any kind of flavor that you want. This is not an all-inclusive resort, and I was able to speak to a couple of members and had actually dinner with one of them, and they were actually really regretting buying a membership here. They had mentioned to me that they bought it many years ago, about 8 or 9 years ago, and have been coming here ever since. So this place is basically its own little city, and it's completely separated and gated from the whole rest of Mexico, so the rest of Mexico does not look anything like this. The owner of this place and the business model is really what I was mostly interested in. During the sales presentation has really thought about how to cater and bring people here. So there is things for families. They're bringing in theme parks. They're bringing American type theme parks here. This particular resort actually has a Cirque du Soleil show, which is kind of like a Vegas style show here that you can go to. And the way it was explained to me is that a person that is from Mexico and maybe can't get a visa or a travel permit to the United States could come to a resort like this and experience a little bit of America right here in the middle of Mexico. So they're catering to that. A lot of people that do travel to the United States from Mexico go to theme parks in Orlando. So the owner of this particular resort has decided to start building theme parks and golf courses and bring like golf tours here. I mean, he's really thought about maximizing his business model and going from Timeshares, which is a vacation club membership that they were trying to sell today, as well as partial ownership in some of the real estate, and they actually have actual real estate that they sell on this property for millions of dollars. So whatever level that you can afford to invest in, they have a plan for you. And of course, when I go to these presentations, I usually don't buy anything. Not just usually, I never buy anything. I then get to be taken through all the steps of the different products that they offer, going way down and further down in price, and that they were, the last thing I think they offered me was $299 for 2 weeks, for a week each, so $600 for 2 weeks every year for the next 5 years or something like that. What I understood from the other owners at this particular resort is that everybody that buys a membership gets a different kind of pricing for a different kind of hotel, because there's 5 hotels here, a different kind of membership, a different kind of set of benefits and amenities. And I even asked, what are the member exclusive benefits? that are only available to members that I couldn't get if I were to rent somebody's unused week from another member. And that question, my salesperson was a little hard pressed with the answer to that. What he did tell me though is that they will have the private beach club actually for members only, which is a little bit over there, as well as private transportation and other amenities, but he did not tell me what the other amenities were. As all of these presentations, once you're in them, they start to get confusing very, very quickly. They try to pride themselves on not being too pressuring too much, but in the end they're really pressuring and intimidating. My overall experience with my salesperson is that the first hour went really smoothly while we were eating breakfast, and we had a lot of good interchanges and ideas, and my salesperson actually has another job doing something else on the side, also in the tourist industry. But once he realized that I really wasn't there to buy anything and I wasn't going to buy anything, he very quickly even told me that he wants to be nice, but he doesn't want to waste his time. And I understood. That's, of course, and it seemed like he started to get a little bit of annoyed because I was asking equal, if not more, questions than he was asking me. And anything from what is the safety and security in a place like this. I heard stories of large snakes coming onto the resort and wild animals, and I've heard of another resort actually from another member where it's actually in the group of these resorts where a river actually runs parallel to the beach, and that river is oftentimes visited by alligators, or the person said crocodiles, but crocodiles, obviously we don't have them in North America, so alligators. And that somebody is actually assigned to watch that river to see if any alligators actually enter the places where the actual tourists are, and that's when the whole beach will get evacuated. So you gotta worry about a couple of things like that, and do your research if you're gonna buy a timeshare. I'm not ever gonna discourage you from buying a timeshare, and I'm not in the timeshare business, obviously. I think for an investor it's an extremely bad decision. If you are of means and this is the way that you like to vacation, all the power to you if you want to buy a timeshare. I think that the investment itself is not worth it, especially if you're hard pressed for cash. The investment is really more that you're investing in somebody else's business model to expand their operations and their business model and their business, so that you might have a piece of using their success story later by actually being a guest here. I always attribute that when I want to buy real estate or invest, I want to have control of my investments, and I think that's a better business model for me or for anybody else really. But if you are not really real estate savvy and you want to get into be a business partner basically of some big conglomerate like this that has a working business model, this is a way to go. I think if you want to just get a vacation though, quite honestly, the best way really is to see if you can buy different resorts of weeks that are unused from other members. And in fact, the people that I had dinner with last night even said, in hindsight, we should have never bought this timeshare. Instead, we should have just rented unused timeshare weeks from other members, because we would have gotten the same benefits as they get. So that was their hindsight. I took their words as what I'm presenting here. As always, I'm not trying to bash this business, and who this business person, I believe, is Mr. Chavez, is actually a brilliant business person, I believe. I did ask if he actually ever goes around these resorts, and my salesperson said that he does come around sometimes. He's a very humble person, and people have seen him. He started with very poor roots, and of course is now, I'm sure, a billionaire. And my next question, of course, being as cocky as I am, is, hey, can I get an interview for my show, for my radio show, for my channel? Just can I talk to him? And of course, you know, I'm way too low on the totem pole to ever be even asking a question like that. But you know what? It never hurts to ask, and I asked, and I was told no, so that's okay. I totally understand. I'm not as important as some of these people out there in the world, but I do like to learn from people that are way more successful than I am and learn their business model, see what they're doing. If you can't learn from them directly or meet them or interview them, at least do your research, do some reading, find out what the business model is of the resort that you're trying to buy into or even just rent from. And if you are interested in this kind of vacation and this kind of membership, or a vacation club membership or timeshares, do your research on those. A lot of these resorts offer intro packages or kind of like the teaser stays for 3 to 4 days. Try them out. Try them out, different ones in different locations. See if you like them. Talk to the salespeople. Be open and honest about what you're looking for and interview them. You have nothing but good vacation time to lose. And they're offering these teaser rates. Why not take advantage of them? And by the way, last but not least, I actually was called the buy and fly client. My promotion actually showed up for some reason on Facebook. It's probably because I did a search on vacationing in Cancun because I was coming here anyways, and Facebook picked up on that and sent me ads. One of the ads was 3 days at a 5-star resort, 3 nights at a 5-star resort for $150. And that's the deal that I bought. Of course, they upsold me to a different suite, a bigger place, which I did purchase. So I ended up paying approximately $900 for weeks of stay with my mom here at this 5-star resort. There's nothing inclusive. Everything has to be purchased: breakfast, lunch, dinner. And really what I heard from the reviews of this particular resort and other resorts like this is that in Mexico you will get picked up at the airport by the resort shuttle. You're basically getting kidnapped right at the entry point to Mexico, and you're being taken here. And it's really a golden cage. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous. I'm going to show you some pictures. But you really can't leave easily, even though they have shuttles to go to different places. Why go if you have the best dinner places here, and you even have a grocery store? My mom was able to buy cigarettes. Shame on her for still smoking at her age, but she was able to buy cigarettes. We got toiletries. If you want a vacation where really everybody just serves you and caters to you, this is the place. But you will be paying US prices for it, other than, of course, if you get some sort of deal like I did. I was told at the end, I was threatened a little bit intimidated, which I wasn't intimidated, but I know it was serving for me to make a decision on buying something anyway. They did tell me that since I took this teaser rate this time, I would not be eligible to accept any more offers from this particular family of resorts for the next 5 years. My name and my number and everything, my passport, will be stored in their database, and I won't be able to accept any more offers for the next 5 years. From experience, I know for a fact that's not the truth. This policy will be changed in about a year or so, and we'll be getting offers again, and then they'll say, okay, we're changing our policies, we're trying to get people, will you accept another offer? And they're going to try to do another sales pitch. So half of what they're telling you, it's very good salesmanship. Not everything is the truth. Don't believe everything you hear. But in all, I'm really enjoying my stay here. I think I got an amazing deal. The members were a little bit upset when they heard what I paid. Understandably so. I was a little bit upset about hearing what they said, because for their week, the members actually that I spoke to paid $2,800. There's no maintenance fees at this resort. You only basically pay when you stay. But for the same week at basically the same place, they paid $2,800 and I paid $900. And they, of course, since they're members, had to pay the initial fee to become a member. And from my salesperson, I learned that the initial fees were between, to become a member at the lower level is $20,000 to $40,000. But if you want to be an exclusive resident owner or buy a piece of residence or even an exclusive residence, it can start anywhere from $100,000 to a couple $1,000,000. And there's a lot more information I have to share about the Strip and more things that I've learned, not just from my salesperson, but from the other people here at this resort that are staying here, from the people that work here, from the whole entire experience. And I'll be making future videos about this because this one is already kind of long and we have somebody modeling in the background as well. So wave to the YouTube people, dear young lady. I hope you guys have a great day and a great vacation and a great holiday season as well. I'll be making future videos. Make sure you subscribe. At the bottom of this video right here is my website. Subscribe to my newsletters. Subscribe right here on YouTube as well. I look forward to hear your comments, questions, suggestions. I do know for a fact that my timeshare videos or my vacation club videos get a lot of responses. People are very passionate about this topic. I do want to let you know I am not in the timeshare business at all. I was coming here anyways. I was offered this deal and I'm not going to say no to a good deal. I'm a thrift shopper. That's what I do. I do this with everything in my life. I don't believe in spending money unnecessarily, and I'm a business person. So whenever I can learn something, not spend a lot of money, and hopefully help others, that's what I'm all about. That's what my channel is about. And I look forward to hear from you and see what you have to say. I'm sure some of you guys will be upset that I'm using this cheap deal and I have no intention to ever buy a membership, but in my defense, I didn't actually know this was a timeshare club. I thought it was just an offer for a hotel. So that being said, I hope you have a great day. Please subscribe and send me comments, suggestions, questions, ideas, criticism. I take it all. Look forward to it. Have a great day. My name's Julia M. Spencer, and my channel is on anything and everything related to real estate investing. Have a great day.
For your free guide to real estate investing, visit juliamspencer.com.